Welcome back to the flower farm. We are back outside again this week and I couldn't be happier about it. We have had very gloomy weather and we somehow got snow last week, which even for Wisconsin is a little unheard of in April. So this balmy 45 degrees with the sun peeking out behind the clouds feels really nice. This week, I'm going to be walking you through the steps that I use to make a no-till flower bed. No-till practices are something that I try to apply here on the flower farm, and I'd say at its worst, I'm using low-till practices. If you're not familiar with those terms, no-till means I'm trying to disturb the soil as little as possible when doing bed prep. So I'm not necessarily breaking ground, bringing out a tiller, ripping up grass and weeds and planting into it, but I'm applying some different practices and techniques to establish my plots. Now the first step in all of that I'm not going to show you today, and that was laying out a massive silage tarp. So the area where I'm standing right now was actually just grass about 6 months ago. I got this really big silage tarp, and it's exactly what it sounds like. A big tarp that doesn't let precipitation or sunlight through it. I laid that out in the plot where I'm planning to establish some flower beds, and I let it sit there for about 6 months. And what that did is it killed out all of the grass and other vegetation beneath it while still leaving behind really nice soil. A few weeks ago I pulled up that tarp. Most of the grass had died back. There's little bits here or there where there was some green growth, but these next steps that I'm about to talk you through will continue to suppress that grass that was there in the past. There's going to be a few steps I'm going to walk you through today, and it's relatively simple. The first step, we're going to lay out some cardboard where I intend to plant out my flower rows. After that, we're going to cover it with a really nice garden mix. So I have a company here in Wisconsin that produces some wonderful organic soil. I like to use that when I'm establishing these no-till beds because it makes it relatively easy to plant straight into. If you just had compost on hand or if you just had topsoil on hand, that's okay too, especially if you're just a home gardener who's not growing for production. So let's talk a little bit about cardboard. Its main purpose is to suppress any weeds. So it's going to help suppress the grass that was there in the past, any weed seed that's made its way into that fresh soil, and it's also going to create a really nice soil structure. Where I'm standing now, I have already mulched out the pathways. You may have seen that in some of my previous videos. And I have weed barrier fabric just covering that raw soil where I will be establishing the flower rows. I'm going to pull back that weed barrier fabric and lay out a really nice layer of cardboard. This layer of cardboard is going to go underneath a layer of soil and compost. I get my cardboard from a number of places. I try to save up as much stock as I can throughout the rest of the year. So when I'm getting deliveries in the mail, when I'm getting gifts in boxes, we're doing a lot of home construction. So as those deliveries are coming, I try to save any cardboard there. And once I'm through my free stockpile, I really like these rolls. These rolls are from Uline, and they are 4 feet high, and you get about 250 feet of length with each roll. My flower beds here on the flower farm are a standard 4 feet wide, so you'll see in just a minute how nice and how much of a time saver these rolls are. You can just roll that cardboard out and get on to the next step in the bed prep. Now, if you don't want to invest in rolls, other places where you can seek out some free cardboard would be places like Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, any type of a store that is selling things in bulk or selling things like refrigerators and stoves that come in really nice big boxes. The bigger your pieces of cardboard are, the less you have to patchwork them together, and you'll again see why that can be relatively time consuming in just a minute. So let's stop the chatting here and let's dive into the first step of making these beds today. If you're looking at this now, you will see a little bit of green growth popping up here or there. So some of the grass, despite being covered for 6 months or so, is still trying to persist. The cardboard that I'm about to lay out will definitely suppress it over time, and all of this grass that is relatively dead will start to decompose in the beds as we build that really nice soil structure as well. So now you can see I have that cardboard layer laid out. If you're piecing together a bunch of boxes, just do your best to make them into a nice puzzle that will completely fill the area you're trying to plant into. I'm now going to water in this cardboard so it's really nice and moist. The next step in the process is adding a nice layer of compost over top of your cardboard. Now, if you have excellent quality soil where you're establishing your bed, you can just use a couple inches of compost. Where I am planting, we are dealing with really heavy clay soil that's not very well draining. So I'm going to be almost building up a little bit of a raised bed over top of that cardboard using a high quality organic garden mix. So I get this organic garden mix right here in Wisconsin from a Wisconsin producer, and it's made of a perfect little blend of organic topsoil and organic compost. It's really nutrient dense, it's really mild on the fresh little seedlings, and I'm able to mound up quite a few inches above our natural soil line and still plant right into it. This is what happens when you YouTube while gardening. Once you've added your soil to the cardboard, you can just level it out into as deep of a layer as you would like. I am going for more raised beds here, so I'm using that garden mix that I'll be able to plant right into. If you have healthier soil to work with, you can apply a much thinner layer of compost, just knowing that you'll be digging through that cardboard when you actually plant out your seedlings.